Perfect. Perfect. So...
Absolutely perfect.
Les gars, j'en perds pas une. Yeah, even in French. Like, I'm coining that shit right there.
Okay, I've got the right estimate up now.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. Let's play some Super Metroid.
Okay. That sound okay?
All right, who's hyped for Super Metroid?
Good headphone users.
All right. 3, 2. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, sure. Go
Okay.
ahead.
3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so this is a ROM hack called Super Metroid Redesign, and I kind of like to think of it as Super Metroid on steroids. It was released in 2006 by a guy named Drusif, and first thing you'll probably notice is that Samus is a lot heavier in this hack. Physics have been drastically altered. Pretty much everything about the game has been altered in a way that makes getting around the planet a lot more difficult. This beginning area is the same, but as soon as I land on the planet, you'll see everything is different.
Everything's the same. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, I thought it was different. My eyes must not be working.
I mean, right now, like, it's the same room.
So this is starting off pretty much just like Super Metroid. I'm taking damage from Ridley because he automatically flies away when you go under 30. So that's the fastest way to end that sequence.
What happened to the timer?
I got cut in half just to make things harder, you know.
Yeah. He's spreading lies. This is the same thing. Why did you wait 30 seconds before starting escaping? You started at 30 seconds. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure Ridley is in Super Metroid, Elm. I don't know what you're trying to pull here.
I thought you were going to be running in the desert collecting, like, I don't know, diamonds and stuff. We're here for you, Elm. We got your back.
All right, see? Everything's different. This background stuff was not here. Okay, so pretty much following the vein of the original game, I am going to be going and grabbing Morph Ball and missiles and awakening the planet. What I'm kind of trying to do here is, one, you'll see me jumping through certain door transitions to try and center them. That is because if you center a door before going through the transition, the screen doesn't have to take time to line it up. So centering your door transitions properly can save a lot of time over the course of a run, especially a run this long.
One thing I'd like to point out early on is that if you've noticed, Samus looks a lot heavier in this ROM hack. Gravity is a lot different. The gravity is a lot stronger in Super Metroid Redesign, which, I don't know, to me it changes the whole mechanics of the game. The first time you play through this game, you jump the first time and you're like, oh my god, what's going on?
So it might not have looked like it there because I did a pretty good mock ball, but the Morph Ball's base speed is actually halved in this. Its acceleration is also slowed, so it means if you're not doing tricks like mock ball, then you're going to be moving very, very slowly. So another another big point of speedrunning this hack is ammo management. Ammo management is pretty important in runs of the original Super Metroid. It's absolutely imperative that you manage your ammo correctly in this, because as you can see, I only have 5 missiles. I just used all of them to open a red 5 missile door, and now I have to make my way through all these enemies, and I'll have to open a bunch more red doors. I won't get more missiles for a little while, so I'll be stuck with the 5 that I have right now. I have to make sure that when I get to a red door, I have enough missiles to open it. Also, these enemies are no joke. You might have seen in the first pirate room that I was in that the zoomers took a lot more shots to kill. Pretty much every enemy in this game is beefed up. They'll do more damage to you. They'll take more shots. It's to the point where you have to effectively learn how to deal with them. Usually you can't just run through them. So some of those guys I had to kill, some of them I was able to jump over. I'm going to try and dodge this pirate by timing it. Morph, got it. That dodge is a little tricky, but it's you kind of want to dodge that pirate because it does 33 damage. That can be pretty detrimental. So I mentioned ammo management. I'm going to be destroying this cargo hive right here to get my missiles back, because I'm going to need it for a red door coming up.
I got a 2616 donation by Techno Magus. It says, this goes towards saving the animals because redesign is suffering enough. And he's damn right.
Thank you, Techno.
Yeah. That was a good one. Thank you.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, so that was a 20 USD donation.
Alright, so as you can see, I've got another... Wow, that didn't give me a missile. Jerk. Red door, yet another red door, and I'm going to have yet another red door coming up, so I got to make sure that I keep my missiles up. Also... Okay, I messed up the damage phase, that's okay. These side hoppers, I haven't been hit by one yet, but I will be soon. You can't kill these with your regular beam shots, you have to use missiles. And I just opened this red door, so I have no missiles. This room has 3 of them. I have no choice but to take them. And hope that they don't hit me too much. And also hope that I have enough health. Also, this hack went above and beyond and made an entirely new custom boss that isn't found in the original Super Metroid. So a good kill for me for this boss is 4 rounds. With the gravity as high as it is, it's actually pretty difficult to get multiple missiles in a round. I can do 3 first round pretty easy. The rest of the rounds, usually I can only manage 2. And the 3rd round is actually pretty difficult for me to hit 2, so I might miss this. If I miss this, then I won't get a 4-round kill. I'll have to settle for a 5-round. Okay, got it.
Well, I gotta say, I mean, this is where you can clearly see it's a ROM hack. This boss has been built from the ground up by Metaquarius, because I've never seen it before. This is like the one, like, honestly, I mean, the mechanics are a little bit bland, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a bit boring to beat, but I mean, hey, he put the effort to create it, because I mean, otherwise, why would he put it there?
Alright, so, for defeating Spore Spawn, we got wall jump boots, which is,
Spare spawn.
sort of a new item.
Spare spawn.
It's not so much a new item as Drew is kind of a jerk, and he made a couple new items that basically they don't give you new capabilities, but they restore capabilities that he takes away from you. So at the start of this game, I actually wasn't able to wall jump. Now I can, but only off of select surfaces. So like you see these walls that I'm jumping up. You also see how weird the physics are. But these walls that I'm jumping up, they're specially marked wall jump walls. I can only wall jump off of walls like that, and rough surfaces. So some of these girders I'll be able to wall jump off of. Most like rock-looking things I'll be able to. If a surface is smooth, I can't wall jump off it. So this kind of restricts the player in where they can go and how they can go about doing things. I'll also mention that, oh wow. These wall jumps are actually pretty difficult to do properly. You notice they force you away from the wall. It's kind of like Fusion does. And a side effect of that is if you want to single wall jump, like if you want to continually wall jump off the same wall, like say you want to just go up the right side and not jump across to the left, you can still do that, but it is a lot more difficult. And there are a few cases in which I will actually have to do that. Like you just saw me do it right there. That instance is kind of optional, just to get up the room faster. But there are some situations where to do some, I guess, minor sequence breaking, I will have to pull off some of those difficult wall jumps.
By the way, I'd just like to point out, I don't know if you guys have been hearing, the crowd's been going nuts over Elm. Like, you can hear them screaming from all the way down the hall. It's crazy.
Wow.
See? Crosses the door, crowd goes nuts. Door transition hype!
Also, I'm doing a lot of crouch jumping. Crouch jumping is something that is, it's also in the original game. If you begin your jump from a crouch, your jump actually starts half a tile higher. So that allows you to get more height out of it.
I love this fucking game. I love this.
It's actually, in Redesign, the effect is a bit amplified. I don't know by how much exactly, but it's more than half a tile. So it's pretty important for getting around. Platforming in this game is very difficult. And a lot of rooms, the way that a casual player would approach them requires some very annoying jumps. So crouch jumping lets me skip some of those and kind of make the platforming more fluid. This jump is really tight. So I guess I'll give a little bit of backstory about speedrunning this hack. I've been working on speedrunning this for 2 years now. And running it kind of started as like, I played this a couple of years ago, and I thought it was really cool, the way that the challenges the game forced upon you, and the way it restricted you into, you have to do what the game wants you to do, and you can't like sequence break as readily as you can in the original. And the routing for this game ended up being pretty complex. So I was kind of interested to see what a run of it would look like, what it would entail, what the route would be, how hard it would be to actually do. So that's where my interest came in. A couple people from the Metroid construction community, Personitis and Metroid MST, actually decided, mostly as a joke, they decided to actually sit down and race this a couple of times. This enemy that I just shot with the missile, that's called a Reflect. That's a beta enemy. Oh, okay. That's unfortunate. Wow. That just sent me back about 10 minutes.
Huh?
That just sent me back about 10 minutes.
It's all good.
All right. Oh, that
All right,
hurts.
on that, I got a $20 US flat donation. It's from the Dopefish one. He says, "Be sure to hit all the gates first try, Elm. Otherwise, the run may be in peril."
Oh my gosh.
Oh
Okay,
my god.
So that's not the first time I have done that. That has actually been coined as pulling a Croc Firefight impression.
Well, actually, I meant to ask you, because you were talking about the routing of this game being really complex. Has it evolved a lot over the past 2 years since you started running this game? Was there any major breakthroughs that would change the route? Like, let's say in the original Super Metroid, where Behemoth came up with a new route. Anything similar in the redesign, or?
Yeah, nothing quite as extreme as that, because of how much this game tries to restrict you. But there have been like different ideas thrown around. So basically, when I started taking this semi-seriously 2 years ago, this was after Person and MST had raced this a couple of times. So what ended up happening was Person and I would spend a lot of time looking at the map, coming up with route ideas, like what are the best way to clean up certain areas and do certain things. The map of this game is huge, by the way. You can Google it, like just Google Super Metroid Redesign map, and you'll see it, and it's huge. So that was kind of what we had to work with. We didn't have too many resources. We had Saturn's tool assisted run from like 7 years ago to work with. And that was a bit problematic because this game has a lot of stuff that is task only. It's way too difficult for a human to do. So it was pretty limited how much we could actually get that was useful out of the task. So basically we had the task and we had the map and we had like our own knowledge of the game. And that was basically it. So we spent many late nights and calls discussing what to do. He spent a lot of time timing things. He's done most of the timing, the heavy lifting, and the routing over this game, so shoutouts to him. This pretty much wouldn't be possible without him.
I just want to mention that the last donation bumped us up over $900.
Oh yeah! All right, now I'm calling it. Let's make it to 1,000 before Kraid.
That might actually be doable. Kraid's a ways in. All right, so I'm gonna have to apologize for that death that I had earlier. That does not generally happen ever. It's happened once, and it was like when I wasn't paying attention. That's not a common occurrence, but you can see just how easily the game can kill you if you do the wrong thing. Norfair is particularly bad about that. There are lots of rooms with lava traps that if you fall in them, you can't get out. This hack is regarded as pretty unfairly difficult. Okay, there was a damage boost I was trying to get off of both of those guys. Both of them failed. Okay, I almost died there. I could have died very easily if I'd gotten unlucky with the way the side hoppers are jumping. So yeah, this game's deadly. I probably should have saved at the ship on the way to bombs, but I have died on the way there so rarely that I didn't think anything of it. So I've been talking about how the routing in this game is complex, and You're not able to see much of that yet because the beginning of the game is pretty straightforward. But where that comes in is this game has a key system to enter Turian. It's similar to Metroid Prime's artifacts. This game has Chozo Guardians. You have to find 12 Guardians to you have to find them and disarm them to access Turian. So it's pretty much just like finding the 12 artifacts and getting to the final area. But that is how you beat the game, and it's not about killing bosses. It's not just about hunting down the 4 gold statue bosses. It's more complex than that. And some of these Guardians are hidden really, really well. So pretty much all the routing in this game is about how to get to them most efficiently and when to do that, and also how to manage ammo. Got time for some donations.
We have a donation from G-Virus, a $30 donation, and he says, me and Realties had a bet before started our Axiom race. The loser donates $20. Here's $30 because I lost and a half.
I actually didn't see what happened with that. Maybe it's better left alone.
C'est pas méchant de David, juste que sinon, genre, le message n'aurait pas fait de sens.
So I guess while I'm trying to get back to where I was, I'll talk a bit more about the routing. There are essentially 2 main routes that are kind of in play right now. One of them I would say is marathon safe. That's the one I'll be doing. The other one is pretty not marathon safe for pretty much one small reason. I'm going to save here just in case that happens again. And that is very late into the run. There will be there's a way to break into Lore Norfair through one of the back entrances, and it requires a frame-perfect, pixel-perfect trick that basically can take you anywhere from 1 minute to 15 minutes to pull off. It's just really precise, and if you're not having a good day, you just won't get it at all. It can just kill your run. So I'm not going to be doing that, just because I could theoretically be here forever trying it. I am going to enter the front way, and that has its own set of challenges. So, but those 2 routes are the main ones that are in play right now. I've also found tweaks here and there that pretty much affect all routes. This time's gone down a lot in the last couple of years. We've done a lot of work on this.
That's easily like 2 3 runs. 3 more people can get a marathon.
I got $20 from Pidge. He says simply Elma Pear.
Thank you, Pitch. Really
No problem.
appreciate it. I may or may not have a thing for certain types of fruit, so please pair with me.
I gotta say, man, your technique is just perfect.
Thank you. Wow, that guy didn't give me a missile. So I need a missile drop here to shoot that reflect, as I was talking about earlier. This is a beta enemy that wasn't used in the original game because it has a bug in it. If you lay a bomb next to it, it crashes the game. So basically what that enemy does is it will reflect whatever you shoot at it, and doesn't know how to reflect a bomb, so the game just crashes. But it is in the original code, so like if you're making a hack, you can just place a reflect wherever you want. It'll work. So
I got a $50 donation.
Huh?
We've got the bomb Teresa fight coming up, and it's a rather interesting way to kill him.
I got
What?
a $50 donation. It's from Dorkmaster
Oh.
Fleck.
Damn!
Yo, the 1K!
Yo, shout
And
outs
it
to Flick.
reads, shoutouts to my boy Elm and Pidge on the couch. It's become apparent that Elm is no ordinary runner, so it was imperative that I donate during his inspirational redesign run. I'll show myself out. And that bumps it over $1,000 for the marathon.
Oh yeah! Where before Crade? Who donated this? We didn't hear.
It's Darkmaster Flick, my boy.
Shoutouts to Dorkmaster Fleck, the homie.
Damn, thanks, man. Really, really appreciate it.
You're the real MVP, dude.
Oh yeah. The
Should've
most
been here,
valuable,
though.
the most valuable pair.
The most valuable pair. You totally should have been here, dude.
I also have a $10 donation from Mobile D. I didn't prepare a joke for this.
Thank you, Mobile D. Also, my boy. So I'm glad that you guys think that that a run where I just died 15 minutes in is inspirational, but you know, whatever. I'll take it.
Wow.
All right, I'm gonna do an infinite bomb jump here. This saves 6 seconds.
Sur social media, mais ça, c'est le genre d'affaire.
Infinite bomb jump is not easy in this hack. You'll notice that there's the 3 green dots in the corner. That is custom code for this hack that gives you a bomb counter. It's similar to the way the bomb counter in Prime 2 works. This game has just pulled a lot of stuff from other Metroid games. It's actually really cool. A lot of this stuff has been used for evil rather than good, but it's one of the early hacks, so we'll let it slide. But basically, this restricts you in that you can't just lay however many bombs you want. You have to time them in a certain rhythm when you're bomb jumping, or you'll run out of them, and obviously that ruins your bomb jump. It's also very hard to time them in a way that actually gets you up. You have to really fight the gravity. The timing is pretty tight. It is required to infinite bomb jump to get 100% in this hack, but it's not required to beat it. You're not required to actually use advanced techniques to beat this. So if you're really, really persistent, but you don't know a lot of advanced techniques, you could probably still beat this game. Alright, so, this is one of the more recent changes that I made to the route, and it's pretty interesting. What I'm about to do makes the run for the next hour or so a lot more difficult. I'm actually going to save because there's a good chance I'll die here.
By the way, Elm, I just wanted to tell you, thank you for being the one who tipped us past the $1,000 mark, because officially the $1,000 mark was our donation record for NoReset ever.
Awesome.
So I'm really glad it happened during your run.
So Elm is the other most valuable pair.
Exactly.
Alright, so normally here you're supposed to go left again. In Spore Spawn's room, there's actually a pack of supers. That's supposed to be your first super missile. But I'm not going to go that way. I'm going to go a much faster way.
You know what
This will take me to Red Brinstar, which I was gonna go to Red Brinstar anyways, but this is basically the route that the task takes. And I was thinking about it a couple weeks ago, and I was thinking, hey, you know, why don't we take this route? The task gets early high jump, which makes this a lot easier for the task, but it is actually human doable to go this way.
The English-speaking speedrunners or viewers, for that matter, who didn't understand French, maybe might be, you know, I don't know, annoyed.
So I'm going to be getting my first super right here,
I mean, since we're really
and it's in a pretty deadly spot. This is not intended to be your first super. So if you're looking at this and you're like, this is totally unfair, yeah, it is. You're not supposed to get this now. But I'm going to get this now, and I'm going to do single wall jumps to, okay. This is actually really dangerous.
How do you find Montreal?
I've been here many, many times.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I've been coming to gaming events in Montreal.
Okay.
I used to be a staff
So I'm trying to get up to that ledge. You can see how dangerous this is.
But I love coming back here whenever I have the chance. Like, I'm staying with one of my friends in the Smash support community this weekend. And like, whenever I go missing from here, I'm hanging all over there.
Oh, nice.
There's a bunch of my friends are in the Smash 4 brackets.
That's cool.
If I didn't do this route, I would wind through a lot of jungle Brinstar and eventually end up in Red Brinstar. But going this way will get me to Red Brinstar much faster. I'm doing my best to take care of these enemies. They pretty much, if you try to run through them, they pretty much tear you apart.
So for that section alone, he needs to take at least 60 damage just to get that sequence. That's brutal.
Oh, wow.
My God.
That is so unlucky. That happens sometimes. There's really nothing you can do about that. Okay. All right, I'm up. I'm gonna take a hit from this side hopper because he does less damage than the spikes do. All right, we're up there.
Man, that room was punishing as hell. Seriously. You had to take 60 damage just to get to that super missile, which is nothing in and of itself, because as opposed to...
This room's not easy either.
It's hard. I know. That's what I was telling people earlier. This ROM hack, as you can see, will kick your ass. And Elm is really the best Super Metroid redesign runner out there. So it's a testament to the ROM hack. See, it's not... The physics in this game, they're unforgiving.
This is kind of going worse than usual, but it's not uncommon to die here.
Oh, but I mean, you got this. We've seen you do it before, and you got this.
This route change is actually new since the last time I ran it at NoReset. So it's pretty new. I've practiced it a lot, but you know, it's still, I can still just go south extremely quickly.
Elm, I would just like to inform you, you got a chat full of people saying you got this.
They're not saying I suck?
Nope. You're the Pearman himself.
Do they have eyes? Just wondering. But thank you. Okay, alright. Third time's the charm, right?
Yeah.
Alright.
Fuzda says can't stop the pairs, so that means this run's legit.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And there again, I have much more health this time, so I'm probably fine now. Issue with this room is, so this tunnel I'm rolling through, it goes underneath a power bomb blockade. I can't go through that yet, but there's this little shortcut that still allows me to. These waivers do 23 damage, so if I come into this room with low health, I'm in a very bad spot. This waiver over here that I just passed by, if you kill him, he actually respawns out of that tube at the right side of the room. So I actually don't want to kill him, because if I kill him, he's just going to respawn and hit me anyways. Kind of a catch-22 there. There's a lot of spikes to dodge here. So I'm getting this energy tank now. This energy tank is pretty interesting, because it actually unlocks the door to the Norfair elevator room. So you have to get it, and it's much faster to get it from this side than it is to come all the way through Red Brent Star. Because what you would have to do is you'd have to come all the way through, get that energy tank, and then backtrack to the elevator room. With this route, I can get here much faster, get that energy tank, and go through here without backtracking. Speaking of backtracking, I shot open that red door because I am gonna actually be coming back through here later to fight Kraid, and ammo is gonna be extremely important for that fight. So by getting that door out of the way, I make sure I have as much ammo as possible.
Those water morph ball physics, though.
I'm going to pick up this missile. This missile is pretty crucial. So you notice that this missile is going to give me 10. All the missiles, supers, power bombs, all the amounts that they give you have been changed. There are actually 3 different types of each item in the game. One is used for items out in the open. One is used for items in chosen walls. And the third is used for items hidden in scenery, so like items embedded in walls and such. So you can actually customize those 3 different types of the item to give you different amounts. So the missiles in scenery are supposed to be more hidden, so they give you more, so I get 10 for them. I'll be trying to mostly pick these up and avoid the smaller missile denominations, which are only 2. Supers and power bombs, super packs are either 1 or 2. Power bombs are 1 except for the first pickup, which is 3. So you're pretty screwed on that front. I am doing a heat run right now. I'm constantly taking damage. I need to get through here to get an item that lets me access various use. This is intended. This is pretty much... You're required to do this if you want to beat this game, basically. So if you're playing casually, you will have to do this. And this is actually the reason that getting that energy tank unlocks the elevator door, because you need it to progress. So fun fact, there is actually a way to get various suit early. It's extremely, extremely difficult for humans. I might be dead. You do not want to miss that jump. I might be able to save this. No. It's pretty much the nature of this hack. You miss one jump in an inopportune place and you're dead. It's kind of unfortunate that a lot of those are happening today.
Yeah, that heat run is really hard to pull off. I mean, you're literally racing against the clock. You have very limited spots where you can actually replenish your health, and while you're doing so, you need the good drops. Otherwise, you lose more than you gain back. So.
So while I'm doing this again, one of the side effects of the route that I did to get to Red Star faster is that I bypass Charge Beam. I don't have it at this point, and I'm supposed to. So that actually makes things pretty difficult. So right here at this bug, for example, I'm shooting missiles at these because they don't die to normal beam shots. If I had Charge Beam, I could just use Charge Beam to destroy them. And the nice thing about destroying them with Charge Beam is that you don't consume your missiles. And if you don't consume your missiles, then all the missile drops you normally get are converted into health. So you're actually getting more health drops if you're at full missiles. And I can't be at full missiles killing them because I don't have Charge Beam. So I pretty much have to rely on luck to get me the drops that I want. I don't know. This might be tight now. Alright.
The butt clench. Oh my god.
It's not over yet.
I know, but still. When you got that room in my head, I heard checkpoint.
I mean, I could have saved there. I didn't.
No, you got some health back. I mean, that's, you know, I'll take that.
Okay, so this trip into Norfair is basically just to get Ice Beam. And Ice Beam is required to get various suit. So when I get to the room where I'm going to use it, I'm going to point out, you'll kind of see, it's possible to get Varia early doing an infinite bomb jump. It's possible. I have done it exactly once after hours of trying. I don't know if it's something that we'll see in a human run anytime soon. But you have to infinite bomb jump out of a spike pit. And the problem with that is that the spikes are constantly knocking you around. So it's very, very difficult to get a straight bomb jump upwards without them knocking you out of it. So if I were to do that, I wouldn't have to take this trip into Norfair. I could just get Ice Beam later, because I do require it. But I could just go grab Varia and go straight to where I want to go. And that would save about 2.5 to 3 minutes if somebody could pull that off. But anyways, got Ice Beam. I'm now going to use it to get Varia. And this is actually still kind of a pain. Because I don't have enough ammo to get to Varia yet. I have to grab this super drop. Okay, now I have enough. See, I don't know if you saw that spike pit below, but that is a spike pit you'd have to bomb jump out of. Your goal is to get in this pipe, and the way you're supposed to do that is by freezing rippers and climbing them. This door, so purple doors are a thing in this hack. They pretty much replace power bomb doors and eye doors. They take 25 missiles to open. They're sort of inspired by the orange 10 missile doors from the NES Metroid, except they're beefed up a lot for, you know, no good reason at all.
Interesting, right?
But the fact that these purple doors require so much ammo consumption is a lot of the reason why ammo management is important. I'm gonna have to route around having enough ammo to open a lot of these doors that are in my way. They're usually in front of key things like bosses and important progression paths, stuff like that. Sometimes they're placed in less important areas, which is kind of questionable.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but I think there's something wrong with the donation tracker.
We
we lost the money. We don't know how, but
Who
we
ran away
lost
with the money? Who ran away with the money?
Yeah, we need to call Shoku back.
Ridley stole the money.
Ridley stole me. It's okay. I'll get it back. I'll get it back.
Okay, back. All right. Elm's on the case, guys.
We're gonna do this. All right. So I finally got Varia. I can explore Norfair now. Exploring Norfair is not really pleasant because of all the lava pits around. I did mention
Oh, you got
that
Varia? Oh, yeah, Varia.
that you
Gets
can
it from the other
die
side.
pretty
That's what
easily.
he does. That's his new route.
Like a lot of these lava pits, if I fall into the wrong one, I won't be able to escape. Your physics are severely gimped in lava and acid for the time being. I mean, you pretty much saw that at the start when I died on the way to bombs. I just fell in that acid pit, and there's just like, you have no recourse. That happens, there's nothing you can do. The game just says screw you and leaves you to die. Now, it's not likely that I'm going to fall in such a pit, but I'm just saying the possibility is there. This room is kind of a pain. You're supposed to freeze this squeak. That's what these jumping enemies are called. You're supposed to freeze it and use it as a platform to get into that tunnel. If you're good with Minor Morphs, you can get into that tunnel by doing a running jump and morphing at it. It's kind of tricky. Oh, okay, that is not good. I don't know how I fired that super at the ceiling, but I did, and I need it, so, excuse me while I try and get some more ammo here. It's actually kind of problematic because, okay, there we go. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, anyways, this game blows through your ammo very quickly. So I'm going to be getting to Crocomire soon, and I still don't have Charge Beam. If you're not familiar with how the Crocomire fight works, okay, this can go very wrong, so I'm going to save. But if you're not familiar with how the Crocomire fight works, he doesn't actually have like trackable HP. How he works is every time you shoot him in the mouth, it pushes him back a certain amount of steps depending on what you hit him with. So regular shots don't do anything.
I would like to apologize to Ridley. He has been falsely accused. He did not run away with the money. As a matter of fact, Spore Spawn had it. So I just punched it, and we got the money back.
Well, I don't really care. We're killing Ridley anyways.
The new boss, the new guy.
I can't kill this Tuskegee. Wow, I ran out of ammo, so I have to lure it off the screen until it leaves me alone. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna do another infinite bomb jump here. I need a super missile in this room, and there's very conveniently a super missile right here. It's also good for ammo later. But I need this to shoot a block in the floor to progress. This hole is just barely high enough that you can't reach it. Okay, I need this guy to leave me alone. There we go.
So, Elm, I guess we can agree on the fact that the donation counter has been repaired.
Sure.
That one was a knee slap error.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah, well, that's how it works, so.
Where did this Zeb go off to?
Oh my god.
Alright, so anyways, basically, I'm supposed to have Charge Beam. I don't. This means that, if I run out of ammo in Crocomire, I've got nothing to shoot him with. I cannot push him back. So it's very crucial that I don't run out of ammo here. I need it to farm to full. And even full here is very tight. I've lost runs to this guy, I'm not even kidding. Okay, wow, he was very nice to me. See how I have no ammo left?
Actually, I have a question for you. So, that new armor you got, is that the Peria suit?
Doesn't look very green to me, so.
Well, I got another one for you. Which suit does Samus like to wear to feel equal to the others? The
Equal?
parody suit. Oh yeah, I went there. That was a nice pair of puns, wasn't it?
Oh my god.
They're unparable, man.
This is not a parabomb. Don't even go there. Okay, so that Croc Firefight was very, very nice to me. Because sometimes what he'll do is he'll stop in place, swipe, and then start shooting gunk out of his mouth. Now this can be good because that gunk will drop items. So I can use it to replenish my missiles and stuff, but that's slow. I don't really want it to happen in the first place. And sometimes when he swipes, I'll end up whiffing shots on him. Like, I won't expect it. And can easily end up shooting a missile to his face when his mouth is closed and wasting it. Also, sometimes he likes to troll you and act like he's gonna swipe and shoot gunk at you, and then just not do it. Just deke you out.
That was a nice parabomb.
I actually completely misplaced that. I was supposed to do it earlier. This room kind of sucks. Whether you get back on the ledge in a timely manner, it kind of depends on when the squeak decides to jump.
I mean, that last room right there really wanted you to perish.
So I kind of screwed up climbing here, which is actually a blessing in disguise because if you climb up there using the fastest strats that we have currently, if you nail that perfectly, then what happens is there's a Nova, the crawling dude, is actually completely in your way and will knock you down if you try and go up.
Will I have to ask for a paradigm?
It doesn't take kindly to those. You don't have to mockball under this gate, by the way. There are passages around it. They just happen to be slower. It's not required, in case you're screaming bad game design. I mean, bad game design is is very much a thing in this hack. Just that is not one of the issues with it. So those blocks that I just powerbombed actually have, there's a special object in them. It says custom code that's not in the original game. Or if that object is touched or set off, then the blocks that is associated with never reappear. So the fact that I blew that up with the powerbomb means that wall is not going to respawn, which is pretty cool. Because it lets one-time only blockades exist. Also, underwater physics are fun. If I had not gone the task route to get to Red Star early, I would have had to go through all these underwater stuff an additional time. Alright, so I farmed my ammo to full. I'm in Kraid's lair now, so I gotta kill these guys, which basically means expending all of it. I'm gonna use all my supers on this mini Kraid because he always gives you super drops, so basically a free refill of those. Now, there's the other thing that sinks all your ammo is there's a purple door in front of him. So, because I still don't have Charge Beam, I need to go back and I need to farm to full ammo so that I can actually comfortably do the fight. Now, you can get drops during the fight. He's got those little like toenail-looking claws flying around that can give you missile drops. Something a lot of people don't know about those, and this is true in the original game as well, is that one of those claws that's flying around never drops anything, and the other one always drops something. It looks like it's like 50-50, but it's really just one of them always drops something and the other one never does. Also, if you're hoping to see Crate quick kill, prepare to be disappointed, because Crate has 4 times the amount of HP in Redesign. Your supers also fire a lot slower, so quick kill is not really going to be happening. Hopefully this kills. I missed. Wow. I need that drop. Okay. There we go. Got him.
Oh yeah.
I actually got really good drops from Kraid. I usually never get this many. So your reward for defeating Kraid is a tube. So you can actually beat Kraid much earlier than this. But basically, if you do, your reward is basically that tube telling you to go get power bombs and come back. That tube is the Meridian Blast tube for the original game, which pretty much is a hint to people who have played Super Metroid that, like obviously, if you've played Super Metroid, you know what to do with that tube. I'm gonna try and get more supers here because I kind of need a couple more. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm gonna get a missile in this room. It's only a 2-pack. You normally don't care about 2-packs because they're pretty useless. There's this missile. I like to call him Bob Jr. after the missile named Bob Infusion. That is the 1% unskippable, or quote-unquote unskippable missile. I call that one Bob Jr. because it's not quite as difficult to skip as the one in Fusion. You can bomb jump over it, but it's a lot slower to bomb jump over it and then bomb jump over again on the way back. And you'd actually have to do that 4 times because I come through this area back and forth twice. So you just grab it. Alright, so I'm going to be doing gate glitch in here. We're trying to force this gate open from the wrong side. There we go.
Hey!
That spirit bomb works every time without fail.
It was a spirit bomb.
So that's not really the intended way to progress through this,
I
but
think
it's gonna
I'm
get
right.
me. It's gonna get me where I need to go, just the same. That gate glitch is actually something that we didn't do early on. It was kind of an oversight.
Pitch has left the venue.
One day I just kind of looked at the map and I was just like, hey, there's a gate here that we could glitch and we could get to the bottom of this area faster. Why haven't we been doing it? And person was just like, I don't know. So we started doing that. It saves about a minute. I used to have a lot of trouble glitching these
I think
gates,
you've acted a little bit emotional here.
but I've gotten better at it.
10-pair jam here.
We actually used to call that that gate Elm Gate because I in particular had problems with it. Person always got it just fine, but I couldn't get it for the life of me. And if you miss it, it's no big deal. You just go around, but it does save time. Now that save point that I just saved at. If you've played this hack, if you played this hack a significant portion through, maybe you only played it up to this point, but if you did, I'm sure you know that save point very well. because coming up is the infamous Croco Gauntlet. Probably the single most unfair section of this hack.
Yeah, so unfair.
It's very unfair. This is pretty much the thing that I would say made most people who were kind of like serious about, hey, I want to actually play the redesign and I think I can beat it and I want to try to do this. This is the thing that made them, I would say, made most people reconsider.
Parce que le temps que la plateforme revienne, c'était plus long que juste courir dans l'arbre.
Guys, the money's gone again.
Ridley, I'm gonna have a word with you. Okay. I didn't want to fall back in here, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Alright, so coming up is the aforementioned unfair section of the game. I'd like to ask for quiet time for this because this is pretty difficult. Basically, one mistake here and it's game over.
I know I will. I'm looking forward to it. You have no idea. I mean, that's one thing I've been mentioning like every single time, even during interviews. I've wanted this MRPG in my events ever since the first one, and no one's admitted it. So that's why I told you, GQ. As soon as I saw your submission, I'm like, that's in. I don't give a shit. Like, that's instant.
Oh.
You're not really bad, too. Like that's. Oh man, the 6 trap. Oh no.
You can't make it out of this. It's just killer.
I thought that your armor was impervious to acid.
What game do you think I'm playing?
I don't know, like Rocky Bullets or something? I don't know.
This is Zelda, right?
I'm not playing Super Metroid Super Easy mode.
Isn't it like Super Metroid Fusion 2 Turbo Championship Edition? No, but like on the more serious note, that's one thing. The physics makes it like when you don't have the gravity suit, anything that can sink you is like, it's so unforgiving. Even getting out of water is actually, took me once, I swear to God, 25 minutes to get out of water at some point because the platform, the jump was so precise. It's a really hard game. There's no doubt about that.
Reminded that the last time I did this at NoReset, I only had one death, and that was at Mother Brain. So, like, it is possible to not screw this up, but it just happens sometimes. You honestly have to accept it if you play this game, it's gonna happen. But yeah, the problem with this room, the problem with the Grapple Gauntlet is you have very few visual cues. Like, you basically have very little information of what's around you. It's not exactly blind, but you're pretty much in the dark for a lot of this grappling.
this event last year, that's where we started. That's how we got everything. Well, that's how I got everything started at first. I came back from AGD2 2016, and it was my second year going there, and I'm like, why don't we have events like this in Montreal? Like, well, if I just sit around waiting for someone to do it, I'll just keep on waiting. Redesign?
Alright, we did it this time.
Awesome RPG.
It's not quite over yet. You can still die in this room, but it's less likely. Yeah, there we go. That's it. I'm fine. That is just brutal, mostly because of the physics. But like you cannot fail. You fall in the acid, you're dead.
Like I said, that's the thing. Like, we're actually surprised. That was during the ACMOM's run, which was half French, half English, actually. Switched it up.
And if I recall correctly, you can't even stand up in tight spaces like in Super Metroid, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. There's a I don't know if I should call it a feature, but it's called Morph Lock, and it's custom code that makes you unable to unmorph in certain spaces. It's designed to force. Yeah, you can clap for that. It's designed to force you to do bomb jumps in like morph ball puzzles that the creator intended or whatever. Most players kind of disdain use of it, frown upon it. But Drew does a lot of things that steps on people's toes. So this is the first of the 12 Guardians that I'm gonna grab. There are 3 in each area, so there's 3 in Norfair, there's 3 in Criteria, 3 in Brinstar, 3 in Meridia. You're supposed to come back with Wave Beam to get this one, but I'm not going to be back here at any other point, so since I can glitch that gate, it makes sense to do it now. Also, something I actually forgot to mention is the gates also have custom code. So normally in Super Metroid, when you shoot a gate open and you reload the room, the gate's closed again. But in Redesign, each gate actually has like an event flag. So when you shoot it, the game remembers that you shot it open, and it will be open next time you reload the room. Wow, okay. That was unusual. I actually, I have a strategy there where I try and wait for the bottom multi-viola, the bouncing orb thing. I try and wait for the bottom one to go up before me, and that usually puts me on a cycle where I can just wall jump up and they won't hit me. It doesn't always work perfectly, just because of like slight variations how fast I wall jump. But usually it gets me up there unscathed. If you don't do any sort of setup, you can get knocked back down for a long time. So it's better to try some kind of setup than none. Alright, so far the game's been pretty much railroading me in a specific path. There's not a whole lot you can do to break it. But I'm going to be coming up on an item pretty soon that is going to change all of that. And that is Speed Booster. Once you have speed and grapple, game completely opens up. I guess not completely, but you're free to explore and pretty much go wherever you want out of the places you've already discovered. So this puts me back in the area where you are when you're doing the Hell Run. I actually, if you miss the fall onto that guy, you die. Because you fall in the lava, you can't get out. There, you can actually get out with really precise wall jumps, but that's really difficult. I'm also gonna save here because things can go wrong. They haven't gone wrong in a while, but it's better to be safe. So Speed Booster is in the west section of Norfair. So I notice this game makes you do a lot of back and forth. I farmed 2 full supers and power bombs there because you actually need all of them for the strats that I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be putting these supers to use. I'm going to kill these red pirates with supers. It's the fastest way to take care of them. They do 40 damage if you run into them. I'll actually grab that because why not? They do 40 damage if you run into them, which is not ideal since once I get Speed Booster, I'm going to want to do a bunch of Shine Spark tricks to get out of Norfair quicker. This room's kind of deadly. It really shouldn't be, but there's this big lava lake that you have to grapple over, and if you fall in it, there is an elevator guy on the left that will get you out, but he's really trolly. Sometimes he just doesn't feel like coming down to pick you up. You can clip through him pretty often because it's an enemy. So like if you trip and fall in there, there's a pretty good chance you could still die. I got my supers back, which I wanted to get some back to take care of the red pirates on the way back. So I want to be taking as little damage as possible. Alright, so I've got Speed Booster now. And Speed Booster is really cool in Redesign because what this hack has done is it's taken the slope recharge mechanics of Shine Sparking from the GBA games. And I will say, it's pretty cool to see in Super Metroid because the Shine Sparking in Super Metroid is a lot more fast-paced than it is in GBA games. That makes it pretty difficult to pull off some of this stuff, but it's really cool to be able to do and see. See, I didn't crash there because I actually chained it off of. I got my Shine Spark recharge off the slope. I didn't use it because I didn't crouch, but the opportunity was there for me to use it. I'm gonna missile that guy. I like to missile that pirate instead of super, because the heavy cooldown from supers mean that I can't open the door very fast if I were to use one on it. Okay. So that Shine Spark was meant to break through that wall. I'm going to be coming back to this room later because there's a guardian here that I need. And if I were to break that wall with speed blocks, it's one of the walls that that has an object with a flag tied to it that will disappear forever once you break the blocks. But I failed to break it. So I accidentally did a crouch Shine Spark. Oh, that's not good actually. Okay, I'm fine. I'll be able to make it to the farm. I took a lot of damage in that squeak room. I wasn't expecting that. This is kind of why you don't want to take damage, because you really want to use your energy to Shine Spark. I'm going to make a small detour here for Wave Beam. Wave Beam is very useful in this hack. And there is a trick that I can do here called Wave Spark. I might have missed the window for it. It is very tight. I probably don't have enough frames left to do it. But you can Shine Spark out of here and chain it on the slope and get under the gate. And it's very precise. I get it maybe like 20% of the time, I would say. That's no biggie. I can just do a mock ball back under this gate. Okay, guess another thing I should mention. I don't have Ice Beam on anymore. That's because this game, one of the things that's inspired from Metroid Prime is you can't stack beams. So you can have Charge Beam on, and then you can pretty much pick any other beam to have on, and that's all you get. There is an item much later in the game called Beam Combo that restores the ability to... oh, okay, so I never came through this way. I never opened this gate. Normally open this gate much earlier, but I never came here, so gotta glitch it now. That's the third gate glitch in the run. And I'm gonna try to do more chain sparks here. That one I messed up, but that one's actually really difficult to get because the gate is right in front of the slope. You have very little time to get that. That gate is, again, not normally there, but this is the way that you would normally go through if you weren't going to Red Star the quick way that I did. This is a little detour as well. This is just for a pack of super missiles. But it's a 2-pack, which is very much worth it because I'm pretty short on supers right now. I don't have very many. This is actually worth it to grab in this route. I need to get supers because in Lower Warfare, there's a room where you have to shoot out 8 super missile blocks in a row to progress. So if you don't have 8 supers at that point, then you need to turn back and find some more. Also, that means when you're in Lower Warfare, you have to manage your ammo very carefully so that you will actually still have 8 supers by the time you get there. This missile is nice because it's a 10-pack. So now I have 27 missiles instead of 17. That's a lot more. Here's the purple door. I'm opening this entirely with supers because there are a bunch of Cacatacks behind here. These Cacatacks will always drop supers. So it's pretty much free super missiles. So you might as well use your supers on that door because you're going to get them back right away. And in here, what you need grapple to get is high jump. Now, this hack did what Fusion did, and it packaged high jump with spring ball, so I now have spring ball as well. And spring ball in this hack is really cool, because So I don't really know why they did it this way, but your Morph Ball actually has 2 separate sets of physics values. And a lot of these values, like the speed of your Morph Ball, they're the same in the original game. But there are 2 separate values for it, so if you're making a hack, you can very easily change one of the values to be different, and that's what was done here. So I mentioned at the start of the game that your Morph Ball goes at half speed. Getting Spring Ball here actually restores it to full speed. So it will be as fast as it was in Super Metroid. It might not look that way, because it still has slower acceleration. But if you were to compare rolling with Spring Ball and rolling without Spring Ball in this hack, there's a huge difference. Also, the spring itself is a lot more powerful than in the original game. So there's lots of cool Spring Ball strats you can do. So I took a pretty big detour for nothing but shooting a green gate switch. That's going to come into play very soon. There's a very well hidden Guardian in this section of Brinstar, and I'm going to get it now because I won't be coming back here. We've termed this Guardian the Ammo Guardian because of the ridiculous amount of ammo that you need to expend to get to it. And here's where Charge Beam is. I'm grabbing it now, because I did not get a chance to earlier. So there it is. Would have made life easier, but it just wasn't on the way. I'm gonna try and do a strat here that I call the 1-2. I'm pretty bad at it though. Yes! I've actually never gotten that in a run before. I pretty much came up with that strat like last week, so it's pretty new. So there's this bug here. I'm obviously farming it for drops and trying to shoot the door out while I'm doing so. There's actually a funny little glitch here that if you grapple when you're on the corner there, the game will like push you up. I think we ended up determining that that has to do with the scrolling object being placed there, something like that. Kind of plays funny if you use grapple while inside one of those objects. It's basically an object that, wow, I don't mean to do that. It's basically an object that will change the way the camera scrolls in the room. It's used for certain camera effects, like hiding certain secrets and stuff. So I'm making sure I get a Shine Spark into this room, because this room has 3 giant side hoppers and a kill everything door that requires 6 enemies to be defeated. And those side hoppers really aren't vulnerable to anything I have right now besides missiles, which I have already used a whole bunch of. So I even had to go out of my way at the bottom to open a green switch here that opens a gate in this room. And that switch was protected by a purple door, so that's a super and 25 missile equivalent that I have to blow through. Not to mention the 25 from the purple door earlier. There's a strat here that I came up with recently where you spring ball into that Metairie at the start of the room. And that does a lot less damage than the side hopper does. So if you can get hit by that instead of the side hopper, then that's very good. I'm gonna try this strat, but I'm not very good at it. Okay, yeah, I messed it up. There's a cool thing. There's a cool spring ball strat you can do to fly through that one tile tunnel, completely uninhibited. It's pretty hard. It looks really, really cool when I pull it off, but pretty hard to do. All right, so now I'm going back to criteria. So in Red Star, my trip to there, I got high jump, which you're supposed to get now. I got charge beam, which I was supposed to get a lot earlier, and I took care of a guardian that most players aren't going to find until much later. So that was why so much ammo is required. Is you're not really supposed to. You're not necessarily supposed to get all of these now. You're supposed to kind of explore and stumble upon them when you're looking for them. Alright, there's a cool spring ball strat in this room that if I get hit by this zoomer just right. Yeah, there we go. I really like that strat. It also centers the door transition as a bonus. I did not mean to morph there. So I'm pretty much retracing my steps back to the beginning of the game. Because now that I have all these items, now I've got high jump, I've got grapple beam, I've got speed booster, I can do more things in criteria. I can progress further into it than I've been able to before. Now what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to follow some winding passages to basically Purple Mushroom criteria, and from there you're supposed to go to what's called criteria depths, or more descriptively, underwater criteria. There's a huge underwater section in criteria that you're supposed to go through. Obviously, with the physics in this game, that is really, really slow. I'm gonna take the ship here. I always take the ship here in runs because you need the ammo and energy refill from this. Like, your ammo and energy past this point is really important. You can't do without full. So yeah, you're supposed to go through a whole bunch of underwater stuff in criteria. There's a way to circumvent a lot of it, and this is a really cool trick that isn't really something you would see in the original game. It's pretty neat. It's a gate glitch of sorts, but it's not like the ones that I've done so far. So we'll see when I come to it. It won't be long. Also, these rooms, a lot easier to deal with high jump and speed. A lot more mobility with these items. There's a single super pack here. I'm getting this just because it's really quick to get, and like I said, there's a super blockade in Lower North where I'm going to have to deal with. I want as many supers as I can get for that. So this is a hiding spot of another Guardian. It's up in the sky. If you happen to be space jumping around this area late in the game, you might see the blocks for it. I'm actually not sure how you'd find this otherwise. I guess if you just like randomly feel like shine sparking into the sky. But as you can see, these Guardians are hidden pretty well, and even when you're ready to finish the game, it can take you a while to find them all. I found this to be the biggest like sticking point of people that I watched play this casually, is finding all the Guardians at the end of the game. It's really difficult. Alright, so this is the room with the gate glitch that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to shoot this super to knock these guys off. And I knocked off 2 of them. I need this second guy as well. Alright, so doing that, we can flip through this gray door. That gray door is normally only unlocked after you defeat Phantoon. Wow, that is a very lucky super drop that I just got. That's very lucky because I really want missiles in this section. I really want my regular missiles. Ow. But yeah, so this is basically a huge chunk of the way through underwater criteria. There's a lot prior to this point that I've bypassed by doing the grapple glitch to get through that gate in that door. Yeah, actually, if you go the normal way, you have to fight 2 sets of ninja pirates underwater. The ninja pirates that are in the original game's Lower Norfair, so you can see how that might not be fun. Okay, I guess we're not saving. This save point doesn't want to work. Okay, so this room, this area is called the Lost Caverns. It's basically like the Lost Woods, but in Super Metroid. There's a visual clue that you're supposed to figure out where to go. But if you go back and forth along this section of the tunnel, you can actually trick the puzzle into ending right here. I can't really explain how that works in words. It's kind of complicated, but it's something that was found just a few months ago that was pretty cool. It saves like 1 second or so. Alright, so here's Phantoon. If you guys have seen New Route any percent runs or low percent runs of the original, you'll probably like this. Hopefully I can pull this off. One round. Let's go.
Nice Phantoon fight.
Thank you. Alright, so right after this, I'm going to be trying a pretty difficult Shine Spark chain. That's going to make going through the next part of the underwater section much, much faster. This first spark is really difficult to get off. It's very tight. But once I get it, I can start going much faster than I'd be able to otherwise. Alright, so this here is pretty much the first half of it. This chain to start the second half of it is extremely precise. I do not ever expect to get this, but I always go for it. I got it! I got it! Oh my god. That is really, really hard to get. You have to get the speedfall there. So this hack has a lot of things to complain about, but one of the things I really like about it is how well thought out it is and how it's designed to provoke an emotional response out of the player when they get past a section. Because here's Gravity Suit. And once you pick it up after slogging through all of this crap, you just feel this huge sense of relief and accomplishment. Like you can actually move again. It feels great. You forgot what it was like. Ow. Fish, get out of here. All right. So I'm going to be going for another really difficult trick here. This is it's pretty much optional. This can save upwards of 1.5 minutes. Might be closer to 2 minutes maybe, I'm not sure. So here, I'm going to be trying to get what's called a Spike Spark. And it's, okay, let me try that again. What I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try and store a free Shine Spark that I'll be able to use it once wherever I want past this point, as long as I don't screw up. And the way you can do this off of spikes is if you unmorph the same, you have a 2-frame window to unmorph as you get hit by a spike. And then I think exactly 9 frames after you unmorph, you have to perform your Shine Spark. So it's sort of like, it's nearly double frame perfect. It's very difficult. I'm gonna give this a few tries, and if I don't get it, I'll just move on, and I'll do the loop that this is supposed to skip, but this trick is really cool, and I want to try and get it. I'm gonna give it another round because this is really cool. I really want to get this. Okay, one more try. If I don't get it, I'm gonna leave it. Okay, that doesn't count. I messed up early. That doesn't count. I didn't even actually get to try it. Okay, I'm gonna move on, but I tried. I'm actually gonna farm this thing because I used pretty much all my health, so I'll just farm this thing and I'll run back out.
Just a quick reminder that we have an incentive going on. If you want to save the animals, you have to donate. We're aiming for 1,500 by the end of the run. And in order to, well, saving the animals in this hack is pretty much 10 minutes of pure awesomeness and evil gameplay. That's awesome to watch. So you want to get this in.
I will say that the escape in this game is known for being extremely, extremely long. The animals pretty much add to that. Nice. I don't always get that. So this is the loop that I'm going to take since I didn't get the Spike Spark. I'm going to point out the place where I would have used it later that would have saved me time. And I used that power bomb to blow up the blockade that was above there. I'm going to be going through there in a second. There's a hard strat in this room that I figured out recently. There we go. I'm not used to doing that. I haven't been doing that for very long.
So I'm just going to repeat it since basically we got swarmed by this main stage just starting, well, I mean, of course they're going to start yelling as soon as I start talking, but just a friendly reminder that if we make it to 1500 by the Turian exit on during the self-destruct sequence, Elminster will actually save the animals. Now, like I said earlier, I know you guys want to see them killed most of the time, but in this case, trust me, it's actually a treat. So make sure you get those donations in time. We still got just under $500 to go to make it happen, but I know you guys can do it. So donate generously. Like I said, once again, it's for a great cause. We're not taking a dime off those donations. It's going all straight to the charity in question. So please, let's make this happen. I know we can make this happen.
You guys will have more time to consider donating if I die again, just saying. Alright, so this floor that I'm gonna speed boost across, this is the floor that I would have shine sparked up with that free spark I would have gotten. And I need to come back here because the last Criteria Guardian is back here. So that pretty much wraps things up for Criteria. I'm not going to be coming back here again. I've done everything I wanted to here. It's completely cleaned out. The next sections of the game, though, Meridia, Norfair, Brintstar, those are fairly tangled up. I'm going to be going, like, kind of weaving between them. They're much less straightforward than just cleaning up all of Criteria like I did. So I'm going into Meridia now with my newfound gravity suit. And I'm not actually going to be doing anything here. This is just going to basically be a pass-through for me to get to the area where Kraid's tube was, and I'll be using that to get into Norfair. The junction where Kraid's tube is, upwards leads to Meridia, downwards leads to Norfair. And it's a very good kind of like transit hub kind of place. I end up going through there quite a bit, just because it connects these areas so well. So actually, normally I would want to keep going through Meridia, because this fork that Kraid's tube is at. There's a super I can get here. This fork that Kraid's tube is at, which is going to be the next room. The top that leads to Meridia branches out to left and right. I'm coming in from the right, and you're supposed to continue going up left to go to boss room and get space jump. But I'm going to be taking a little detour Actually, I'm going to be taking a pretty big detour. I'm not going to go that direction at all. I'm going to get there an entirely different way and pick up an early item while I'm at it. So the item that I'm about to pick up is Screwattack. You're normally supposed to have Space Jump to get Screwattack, but you're able to get it early. It's sort of an intended sequence break. It's basically just you have to do a chain spark to get it. So if you can prove that you have mastered chain sparking, you can get it. You don't need to do it to beat the game. But it's required for 100%, and it can be used for cool little things like getting Screwattack early. So there's this purple door in the way. I'm going to go down and take care of that before I start this chain spark, because holding a chain spark while trying to open a door like this is just really not a good idea. So I'm going to be sparking into a little alcove. I'm going to be hoping that I can get a chain spark. I have problems with this one. But I'm going to be hoping that I get a proper chain spark into this alcove, that I go along the slope of it. There is a one tile space of height of leeway that I need to hit this horizontal spark on to be able to do that. And ooh, wow, okay, that's bad. It's a risk, it's a gamble to go for this, because if you're a tile too low, then you fall in the lava here and you have to loop back around, which basically sucks. If you get it though, you can spark back out the way you came, and you can save yourself from going through this loop. So this is basically kind of the walk of shame. It's not really a walk. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but basically this means I screwed up. I'm going back to try again. If I get Screwattack and I don't pull off this chain spark that I was trying to do, actually my health is really low. I should probably fix that. Where can I even fix that? Okay, this is a problem. This game is brutal. Like, you mess up one thing and it just spirals. I have to go get more health because this is not enough. And I feel the best place to do that is... no, I know where to go. Nice, I closed the gate on myself. I'm gonna be popping in here to get this health recharge. You need energy for the spark, that's all there is to it. I usually would have had enough, but I messed up and fell in the lava and got hit by enemies on the way back, so I didn't have enough anymore. Pretty much never happens that I run out here, but that's just... It can happen. Now that I have Charge Beam, I can actually I can hold a pseudo Screwattack, which is spin jumping while charging your beam. That does 200 damage to enemies, and if you kill them with the attack, then you don't take any damage from them. So that's nice. It's a nice way to deal with things like that. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. Hopefully I don't fall in the lava this time. Okay, I went too high that time. See that slope? I wanted to chain off that slope. Because if I did, I would have a Shine Spark right now. And what I would be able to do with that Shine Spark is I'd be able to jump out and diagonal spark back up to where I was. So I didn't manage to do that. So I'm gonna have to take the Walk of Shame again. But I have Screwattack. I got what I came here for, so I don't need to do that again. So it's fine. It's actually pretty costly to do what I did in Spark 2 low. But if you Spark 2 high, you get Screwattack and you just don't get the Spark back out. That costs about 30 seconds. It's not too big of a deal. Falling down without getting Screwattacked out, that's a big deal. That was bad. I should not have done that. But I have it now, and the reason we get it early, one reason is its function is modeled after the Screwattack from Prime 2. It's kind of inspired by it. So it makes you jump forward really far. The other reason is that it makes the Phantoon fight a lot faster. And you'll see how when I get there. It might not really make sense how Screwattack can make a fight faster, since it's mostly, as far as bosses go, it's mostly able to be used defensively. But you'll see when I get there. I'm also not going straight back to Meridia. I'm going to go a different way. I'm going to pick up a Guardian. And I am also, I'm going to enter Meridia in a way that skips a big portion of what I'd normally have to go through. Now the way that I'm going to go in saves about 2 minutes, but it's not pretty because you have to do 2 green gate glitches and you have to do them back to back. This is a big run killer. Not like there haven't been enough already. But yeah, Screwattack flinging you forward, that is huge for movement capabilities. It saves a lot of time having that capability. Unfortunately, it's really difficult to control. So one change that was made to mitigate how difficult Screwattack is to control is you now have to be holding the run button for it to be active. If you do a spin jump and you're not holding the run button, it'll just be a normal jump. You won't have Screwattack active, and you won't go flying forward really far. Actually, I need to go left. I'm the wrong way. Something I do sometimes because you do actually want to come back the other way after you grab this Guardian here. But it's kind of important you grab this Guardian needed to beat the game. Something I did not know for a long time, there's a little tunnel underneath here. Those Novas crawling out of it, they actually come out of that tunnel. And I did not know that was there for the longest time. That's not really important, but it's just kind of like one of those little details. So this is one of the Guardians that I saw a lot of people having trouble finding. It's really nothing that hints that there's anything under the Squeak Bridge. You just kind of have to be curious and look, basically. Oh, right, I forgot that speedball was in the way. See, I usually have that broken, so I forgot that was there. I was not expecting it to be there. Okay, so I'm gonna be going into Meridian now. This is where the fun begins. Spirit bombs would be appreciated right now. I'm actually gonna enter this room and morph so that this pirate doesn't see me and start shooting at me. So that kind of throws a wrench into this. That sucks. I have to go back to Norfair to farm supers.
We must increase our power.
So that's another big run killer, is running out of supers on that gate. There's another one right behind it too, so it's pretty brutal. Just running this is extremely unforgiving. I've had a lot of runs lately. I've been doing attempts at this game lately a lot to practice for this, and I've had a lot of them go very well. And this is just not one of the runs that is going very well. But like you can't expect to hit that. You cannot expect to hit. You cannot expect to hit those gates every run. It just isn't gonna happen. Gate glitching is really precise. These pirates drop supers pretty often, so they're a good farming spot. And that cack attack, is a guaranteed super drop. So you're getting a minimum of 1 super, potentially 3 every time you go through that room. So it's not too bad. You can get back up to full without too much trouble. There's a later gate in the game where it's actually very difficult to refill your supers if you mess that glitch up. There we go. Alright, so, got another one right behind it. There we go. Okay, so those are the 2 green gates. But there's actually a red gate that I'm going to have to glitch up here. I want that. This red gate I find the most problematic gate in the entire game for me. This is just like me personally. I have issues with this gate. And it's because it's placed a tile off the ground. It makes glitching it different. Not everyone has issues with this, but I apparently do. Person just tells me to get good or whatever. Wow, second try. I struggle with that gate a lot. Like sometimes it takes me like 10 or 20 or even 30. So second try is really good. Okay, platforming. You can see how Screwattack kind of throws a wrench into platforming. It adds like a whole other dimension to it that you have to be aware of. Okay, so I'm gonna try something here. Okay, I didn't get it. So I mentioned Morph Lock earlier as a sort of feature. And the way it works is the way that Morph Lock works is there are certain tiles that are set as Morph Lock tiles, and there are certain tiles that are Morph Unlock tiles. That's a voodoo jump. Shoutouts to Mobile D. Basically, if you press jump at the apex of a bomb jump and you have spring ball, you can spring ball from midair. It's a neat little time saver. It prevents me from having to do a spring ball all the way up and lay the bomb at the apex. It's a little faster than doing that. But anyways, Morph Unlocking. If the tiles, like if the person who made the hack placed the tiles for Morph Lock and Unlock in a questionable and exploitable manner, then sometimes you can actually bypass the Morph Lock in places where you're supposed to have it. There's a way to do that in one of those mazes, which I didn't get. I don't go for it more than once. But anyways, here's a Phantoon fight. You'll see why Screwattack speeds this up. So Phantoon has a lot of HP in this hack. The original game he has 3,000. In Redesign he has over 16,000. Which makes for a pretty frustrating fight. Also, you can see the room is kind of cramped. Also, you only have Wave Beam really, and not a whole lot of supers to work with. So having Screwattack at this point, he actually happens to have a weakness to Screwattack in this hack. He will die to 3 frames worth of Screwattack damage. So it's kind of a bonus that's thrown in if you happen to be, I guess, skillful enough to get Screwattack early. It's kind of one of your rewards for it. Okay, here's another tube. I'm gonna blow this up because I want to come through it from the outside later. So that tube is broken now. Anyways, I think I was talking about bypassing Morph Lock. Here's some supers that I want. But yeah, if you manage to bypass a Morph Lock trigger due to lazy design of like where the tiles are placed, you can bypass certain morph puzzles. So what I could have done there, if I had gotten it, was I could have unmorphed and shot a wave shot to open the gate button that I went to instead of bombing it. That would have saved a bit of time. Those mazes I did were actually, I need those gates open for a Guardian that I'm going to be getting much, much later. It's one of the extremely, extremely well-hidden ones. And by well-hidden, I mean, like, the way that it's hidden is just completely unfair. I've watched people play it casually, and I've had to, like, just hint at them really, I don't know if there's an opposite of subtle, but hint to them really unsubtly where they need to look for that Guardian. Because it is just not hidden fairly at all. Okay, so now that I have Space Jump and Screwattack, I can head into Lower Norfair. You don't actually need Screwattack, but it helps a lot. So I'm actually going to be doing Ridley before Dragon. Most casual players are going to do Dragon before Ridley, but going to Lower Norfair and clearing it will net you Plasma Beam. And it's a lot more useful to have Plasma for Dragon. Dragon will actually give you access to the beam combo. But without like a good set of beams to back it up, and by a good set of beams I mean plasma, getting beam combo is not really going to help you all that much. Also, beam combo is like 5 minutes out of the way, even if you do kill Dragon. I don't actually pick it up in this run at all. So, we're going to Lower Norfair first to get plasma. basically what Lower Norfair is it's partially it's a gauntlet that branches a little bit. There's a lot of door caps. The game does what it does best. It eats away at your ammo. I mentioned this a couple times already, but I do need to pass through an 8 super missile blockade at some point. So basically, running through Lower Norfair like this, your main goal is to keep your ammo up as much as possible. You need power bombs to clear certain things. You need those 8 supers. You need to make sure that you have them by the time you need them. And if luck doesn't go your way, that can be difficult. You also need to keep your health up, otherwise you die. So there's that too. Okay, I've got my 8. It'd be nice to have at least one more, just in case I miss, because that happens sometimes. Okay, I have 9, so I'm a little safe. I can miss one shot and I'll be fine. Anyway, here's the blockade in question. It's pretty ridiculous. Oh, also, hello, there's a Namahe shooting fireballs at you while you try to open it. This is pretty excessive. But Redesign does not pull punches. So for the rest of LN, I'll be trying to get my supers back up by screw-attacking Rippers. Rippers are, at least the Jet Rippers, are a guaranteed source of supers. This refill is also important. You really need your missiles and your health back up. Supers are still really important, so I'm going to be trying to collect as many supers as I can, and I'll be using missiles wherever possible. So this door, this purple door, I'm going to use all missiles on it, because I want to save all the supers that I can. There are a couple reasons why I want to do that. One of them is there's another gate glitch coming up. This one doesn't save a huge amount of time. Maybe, I think it's less than a minute. It skips like a little loop around. But it is something that you want to do to go faster. This room is pretty awful. So these are crumbled bridges that you have to run across. The problem is that there are all these bulls in the room. These enemies are called bulls. And they will pretty frequently knock you down the crumble bridges, and you'll have to navigate spiky hell below to get back. The strat that I did in that room was basically tank hits from some of them to get invulnerability frames. Pretty much lets you cross for free if you do it right. Alright, so here is the green gate that I was talking about. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna powerbomb open this floor for later. So I'll have to go down there soon. Ooh, nice. I'm gonna save. I want to save here. I almost forgot. Good bad. This room might look familiar. It's pretty much the same room that's before Ridley in Vanilla Super Metroid. Now the strat for Ridley is pretty unconventional. Ridley takes a lot of damage from X Factors, which are the wave special beam attack that you use with the powerbomb combo. He also takes a ton of damage from Pseudo Screwattack. Conversely, he does 120 damage if you hit his body. So that is the price of pseudoing Ridley, is you get to take that 120 damage. So since X Factors do so much damage to him, I want to hit him with as many as possible, but I don't want to touch his body since it does so much damage. I think I accidentally touched it, actually. I meant to touch his tail. So yeah, I did a lot of damage. You want to conserve 240 energy so that you can afford to pseudo screw him twice to finish off the fight. I'm probably not going to be able to do that now, so I'm going to have to rely on more X Factors and super missiles. That was a close call. Alright, so he's red. Needs a few supers. There's one pseudo. I think he's dead now. Yep. Alright. It's not gonna be a pretty scary fight. It's scary because taking a whole bunch of damage from him is the fastest, most reliable way to kill him. When you get into a position where you can't do that, then things start to go south. I actually don't need to farm here. So a cruel thing that this game does is you defeated Ridley, yay, time to leave. The only way out is through Golden Teresa's room. You're locked in all of their areas. And the room is not very kind. So you can see there's spikes everywhere, and this is supposed to prevent you from doing the AI exploit on him, where you pin him against the wall. But it doesn't do a very good job of doing that, so I can still do it. No, we didn't always fight him this way, and it's about 20 seconds slower to pin him against the wall than it is to fight him with other means. Because if you don't pin him against the wall, you can kill him a lot more quickly using super missiles than well-placed X Factors. You can't really do that with him pinned against the wall. If I try and shoot supers, he'll just catch them and throw them back at me. And if I X Factor him, it's only going to count for one hit, most likely, maybe two. But the nice thing about pinning him in the corner like this is I don't have to use my ammo for anything else. I can keep all of it. I don't have to farm before this fight or after it. And I can keep all my energy. Energy is normally pretty tight coming out of Lord Warfare, and you have to take a lot of intentional damage after leaving it. So having full energy coming out of this fight is really valuable. And that's something that you will not have if you fight him the normal way. He will just beat the crap out of you. So this is the bottom of the ballroom, the crumble bridges that I came through earlier. This is what you're forced into if you fail. And it's really annoying because you have to do like either the voodoo jump or a bomb jump at the apex of a spring ball jump. to get out. And the bulls will just harass you while you're trying to do that. It can be difficult to get out of there. So now that Ridley and GT are dead, I can actually finish up my business here in Lower Norfair. There are two things that you want to get here. One is Plasma Beam, which I'm on my way to right now. Please, Space Jump, work. Work with me here. Also, this missile is nice. It's another 10-pack. So Plasma is just in here. Something I actually haven't mentioned yet, but you probably already noticed, is the beams have differing rates of fire. They actually resemble the rates of fire in Metroid Prime. So your normal beam, or the power beam, fires very fast. Ice beam fires extremely slow. That's why I turn it off pretty much as soon as I'm done using it. Wave beam fires at a medium pace. It's slower than the original games, but it's not terribly slow. Plasma fires pretty fast. Plus, it has good firepower. Unfortunately, I still can't combine my beams, and as I mentioned, I won't be getting the beam combo item that allows me to do that, so I'll be stuck with one beam at a time for the rest of the game. The Plasma has great firepower, but there's actually still something that still a role for each beam to fulfill. So while Plasma has great firepower, I'm still going to need to switch back to Wave at some point because I'm going to want to shoot through walls still. And Ice I will need for Metroids.
Donc, mesdames et messieurs, je voulais juste annoncer personnellement, le dernier 20$, ça vient de Daniel, qui est le représentant de Kingston HyperX au kiosque, qui est juste en face de nous. Donc, le gars, il est vraiment sa coche. Je l'adore. C'est le représentant chez CPC, puis on se connaît dans dehors du LAN. Ça fait comme quand même un bon bout de ça. Donc, quand il a vu ce qu'on faisait, puis qu'il a su que c'était pour une bonne cause, il est tout de suite allé, il a droppé un 20 sur la table. Fait que merci beaucoup, Daniel. C'est vraiment apprécié.
This room is basically just one of the many exits from Lower Norfair. It actually is filling with acid, so if you go the wrong way, if you don't know where to go, it can fill up on you and you can die. There's not really a danger of me doing that because I know where I'm going. But you can shine spark through, and it spits you out into this room, which actually, that room is inspired by a certain room in Metroid Prime 1. Some people may have recognized. One of the things I really like about this hack is all the inspirations and things that have pulled from other Metroid games. It feels kind of like a conglomeration of all of that. Like I said earlier, there's a bunch of intentional damage that I'm taking on the way out of here. You have to go through all those spikes to get to this Guardian. It's actually kind of a lot of damage for it being force damage. My health isn't great right now, so I'm actually going to stop and farm some bugs for a little bit. My health is usually higher than this, but this is just like another one of the reasons that health and ammo management are so important in this hack. Okay, that should be plenty.
So a quick update on the save the animal. We're gonna cut it to 1,200, 1,200 in order to make that happen. So make sure you make the donations come in. Thank you.
So I have all 3 Guardians in Britstar now. I also have all 3 of them in Norfair, since I got the Guardian in Lower Norfair. So I've been weaving in and out of those areas for a while, but now it's just Meridia left. There's nothing for me to do anywhere else. Just gonna clean up Tackle Meridia. I don't have any Guardians from it yet, so I'm gonna be getting all 3 of them now. And to do that, I'll have to fight Drago. So that's where I'm headed right now. There's another 10-pack of missiles in the ceiling here that I'm going to grab. It might look weird that I'm grabbing so many missile packs, but these will actually come in handy later because areas, like important secure areas in this game require a ton of ammo to get through. Turian's no exception. Just to get into Turian, I'll have to blow a whole bunch of ammo, purple doors, gates, stuff like that. And I'll need some leftover from Metroids as well. So, getting these extra missile packs is going to allow me to refill at a missile station to get my max missiles back up. Nice. Okay, that was the last gate I have to do, thankfully.
That was leftover energy from my last one. Oh, okay.
So a lot of bosses in this game have pretty unconventional weaknesses. If you remember back at the start of the game, I killed Bomb Teresa using bombs. I killed Phantoon using Screwattack. You can actually kill Phantoon with Shine Sparks if you can get them to him. Dragon's weakness is also bombs. Plasma does a lot of damage to her reliably, but if you can get some bomb hits on her, that'll do a ton of damage, and pretty easy way to do that. Okay, so with the shrimp dead,
Slayer of the parents.
with the shrimp dead, this opens a lot of doors that were previously locked. So it'll let me get to one of the guardians that I couldn't before. Also, this energy tank is nice. So I actually want to equip Wave here. I'm going to be using Wave Beam to make one room a little bit faster. Because there's a gate switch that normally I would have to bomb through a large section of tunnel to get to. But using the Wave Beam, I'll be able to bypass that.
I got $100 US donation. It is from Technomagus, and he says, here's an extra 20 for each boss slain, plus another 20 for getting the final gate glitch on the first try. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Techno.
Thank you very much.
Actually, I would like to say thank you very much.
Do I hear some joke stealing going on?
And also, I would like to add on a more serious note that we're less than $40 away from saving the animals. So let's just do it. 33 bucks away, not even.
Okay, so now that I've taken care of that, rest of this is I'll be getting the last two Verdia Guardians that are in the west end. And this is the missile station that I'll be using to refill my ammo. That's the last refill I'm going to take. These 67 missiles are going to have to last me to Titurian, pretty much. I'm gonna have to try and keep my super count up so my supers can help as well. But there are places that I can get super drops along the way. So my count for that is actually pretty good right now. This earthquake here? Oh yeah, this door isn't actually open. This earthquake here, that signifies that the tube in this room has broken. I didn't come up here before because there's no reason to, but that tube is, that tube's there for most of the game, and it mystifies most casual players as to how to break it, because you can get everything done in Meridia. Like I said, most casual players are going to do Dragon third instead of last. So they're going to clear out all of Meridia and then wonder why they can't open this tube, how to get onto the other side of it, or into it. But the trigger for that tube is actually defeating Ridley. So once Ridley's dead, that tube will open. There's some weird things with the trigger of that tube where it doesn't always open depending on like where you came from, or like the last boss you killed or something like that. I don't really understand it, but sometimes that tube just doesn't open. Also, this spark is pretty cool. Saves a super missile, because otherwise I'd have to go through a green door. Saves a super missile in 5 seconds. Alright, so I've got one more Guardian to go. And that is the Guardian that I started getting. That wave shot's cool. That's kind of unintended, but you can push a wave shot far enough that it'll actually hit that left gate button. But yeah, I'm going to be finishing up the Guardian that I started so long ago on my first trip to Phantoon. This is the bottom half of the gate switches. There are 4 gates in this hallway that you need to go through. The hallway itself is pretty hidden. The 2 gates are fairly hidden. You have to go up here to get to the hallway. And this isn't the worst part of it. The worst part of it is not that you have to go through all these convoluted morph mazes to hit all these switches. Just to get behind here. Worst part of this is you get behind here, you get to this hallway, and you get to this part where you have to jump through the ceiling, and there's absolutely no hint that you have to do so. I've seen people like search for this particular Guardian for hours and not be able to find it. Even after they get through the hallway, they get through here, and then realize it just loops back to an area they've already been to. But you have to jump through the ceiling, and the game does not hint at this at all. Pretty much the only thing is that, you know, there obviously has to be some reward for opening up all those gates. So where is it? You kind of have to assume that there is some kind of reward in that enclosed space, and you have to find that based on that. But it's pretty evil. So that was the last Guardian. Now that I have all of them, I'm heading to Turian. So if you don't have all 12 Guardians, this Guardian tells you that you need to find X number of chosen Guardians. So if you stumble upon this one early on in the game, basically gives you the clue to what you need to do for the whole game. That's kind of what the Golden Statues room does in the original Super Metroid. One of the things I like about this hack is how a lot of things are expanded, but they still kind of mirror the way that the original did it in some way. So I equipped ice on that elevator. You see how much ammo I blew to get into here, but I equipped ice. I need ice beam to kill Metroids. And these Metroids move so fast that the best way to deal with them is to just let them grab you, because they're pretty much just gonna grab you. It's very difficult to avoid that. So you just let them grab you, you group them. Lay a bomb in midair, jump and fall into the bomb to knock them off. You fall at a really fast speed. So normally a concern when you're bombing off Metroids, especially ones that go this fast, is like what just happened there, is that you bomb them off and they just come and latch onto you again. But I found that with the falling speed in this game, the way I'm doing it is the best way to do it. It can get kind of dangerous and hairy when you're grouping multiple of them. I think I still need one more. So the way these rooms work is, oh no, I don't. There's a counter for how many enemies you need to kill to unlock those doors. You can actually skip the Metroids in this room by doing a mock ball under this gate. I'm pretty sure that's like one of those intended sequence break type things. That skips an entire other room as well, so that's pretty neat. So I don't have to worry about them in there. But yeah, these gray doors, they open by destroying a certain number of Metroids. In most of the rooms, these Metroids are infinitely respawning. So you just have to destroy the requisite necessary to get out. I'm also only using missiles on them. You might think it's faster to use supers, but the problem with that is their drop rate for supers is extremely, extremely low. Like I've killed a lot of Metroids so far in Turian, and I still only have 3 super missiles at this point. So throughout Turian, I'm trying to group these Metroids in a manner where I don't have too many on me at once, so they don't suck all the life out of me and lag the game. But I have enough that I group them efficiently, and I don't have to waste time waiting for the same Metroid to respawn over and over. Sometimes they don't all freeze, I'm not really sure why. Alright, this is the last Metroid room. Gotta kill one more. Alright, now everyone's favorite room. Baby Metroid. This game does have a Metroid Skip. I'm gonna try and pull it off. I'm not the best at this trick, so no promises. But Screwattack makes it pretty interesting. No. Oh well. So this actually puts me in a bit of a dangerous situation. Because there is a side hopper room in this section of terrain. It is after the baby Metroid. So I'm gonna have to go through it right here. Thankfully I have Screwattack, so as long as I don't touch the ground, I should be fine. Alright. That can be a little scary though. You can die pretty easily if you have 1 energy. So I'm just gonna refill my energy. Save just for good measure. Alright, time for Mother Brain. Metroid Skip is pretty hard with these physics. But I think I finally figured out a semi-consistent way to do it. Alright, so this fight's pretty interesting compared to most Mother Brain fights you'll see. I don't have beam combos, so the most damaging thing that I'm stuck with is Plasma. If I had supers, those would actually do more damage because Mother Brain's pretty weak to supers. But your charge beam charge is really slow. So what I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna try and get as many hits as I can with the Plasma Beam charge combo. Okay, so this fight's actually tougher to survive than normal, because in original Super Metroid, Mother Brain's scripted Rainbow Beam attack does 300 damage, so you need at least 300 to survive it. In Super Metroid Redesign, it does 439. I don't know why it does such an odd number, but the point is it's more, so you have to have at least 440 energy at the end of the fight to survive. Another thing you might notice is I don't have my suits anymore. In fact, I don't have most of my items anymore. Rainbow Beam takes away everything from me except for wall jump, bombs, and morph ball. And I have hyper beam. But that's about all I've got. So the premise of the escape in this game, and the escape is super long. It's extraordinarily long. But the premise of it is it throws all these things at you that wouldn't be challenges to you at the end of the game normally. But since you don't have any of your items, they are challenges to you. So this escape will have lava and acid death traps. We'll have suitless underwater. We'll have some wall jumping segments, some difficult platforming. Also, since I don't have my suits, I take 4 times normal damage from Mother Brain's attacks now. So that means I have to be really careful during this phase of the fight. Because a full onion ring combo like that did 320 damage to me.
Ah, mais c'est sur Tori and Exit?
Ah, ok. Ok.
I just want to quickly announce that we popped 100 viewers on Twitch.
So the original game, if you remember, gives you 3 minutes for the escape. Redesign gives you 25. It's just kind of a measure of how long the escape is. And most of the difficult parts and the death traps are actually near the end, which is pretty cruel. I've gotten pretty competent at dealing with most of them. But, like, honestly, I hope it doesn't happen, but anything can happen, so we'll see. A lot of this time also goes to, if you're a first-time player of this, figuring out where to go, because it's not always obvious in this escape where to go. It's not always straightforward. There's another twist to this. So, this is a pack of missiles. This is a 10-pack. You don't normally see items in this game. Now, I have to open 2 red doors with this 10-pack of missiles. You cannot refill missiles in any way in these games, so if you use any in the wrong place by accident, you're pretty much screwed. So don't do that. Also, there's a mock wall here under this gate that lets me skip a room and a half. Saves like 30 seconds. There's a lot of like little shortcuts here and there in the escape that a first-timer won't use or won't notice are there, but they're there, so they can speed things up a little bit. I actually found out where most of these were from watching the tasks, so it came in useful for some things. So, way back before I ran this game, and or pretty much when I was just getting into it, and Person and MST had done their races as pretty much as a joke. They actually raced this twice, and Person had gotten, I believe, 4 hours and something. 4 hours and change in one of the races. So he took his video of it and analyzed it and cut out all of the deaths and all of the mistakes where he like wasted several minutes in some room or other that could have been prevented. So took out deaths, took out easily preventable mistakes, and after doing the number crunching, he concluded that a decent deathless run of Redesign would be around 3 hours and 58 minutes. Needless to say, we've come a long way since then. There's been a ton of strats found over the last 2 years, a ton of routing work, First time that I did a run of this game, my time was 4:09. My second run was 3:36 or so, I think. That was from general improvement and dying less and all that. I think my first ever run had 10 deaths total. But at the time, we pretty much thought that like maybe sub 320, maybe low 310s was gonna be it. And I've had a lot, like, I've had a lot go wrong in this run. This run kind of, this run that I've done today kind of goes to show how brutal this game can be, how unforgiving it can be. My personal best right now is sitting at a 223.05. And it's not the best run that I can do yet. There's still improvements to be made. A lot of things need to go right to complete a good run of this game, but that kind of time just shows how far this game has come in the last couple of years. Figured out a lot of ways to make things faster. They figured out a lot of ways to make things easier. Still die all the time. There's no escaping it. Alright, so another twist in this escape. There's a Metroid in this room. I'm gonna try to mockball this. Here we go. And there's a Metroid in this upcoming room. If either one of these latches onto me, I'm dead. Like, you cannot get it off reliably, and because you don't have suits, it will just suck so much energy out of you. There's an energy refill at the bottom here, but with the amount of E-tanks I have, it's pretty useless. You're not gonna get to the bottom in time. It drains your health really fast without suits. So I was actually able to escape that second Metroid. That Metroid used to be a run killer, and it used to suck a lot. Getting like 5 minutes into the escape, and just having that Metroid latch onto you, and just losing your entire run because of it. Because of course you have to fight Mother Brain again, you have to go through all the escape again. But I figured out that if you run to the edge of that ledge and you jump really high, that actually manipulates the Metroid to fly higher
That escape
at
shaft
you.
is horrible. Horrible.
And what you can do with that is, because of how fast you follow this game, you can move the camera really far down so you get the Metroid off camera. That Metroid doesn't move off screen, so you can escape it by doing that. It's a neat way to actually get the physics of this game to work for you for once rather than against you. I was hoping I was gonna get through this climb for once without falling. It's pretty hard to do. You can see those platforms are pretty small. Screen's shaking.
And here it is, the Turian exit. Elminster. So we cut it off to 1200 for Save the Animals.
Uh-huh.
And we're at 1272.07. So we're going to save them. We made it.
All right, let's do it.
And on that note, I have a $39.25 donation from Technomagus. Says Schadenfreude.
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 That's what it
Also
is.
have $25.45 from the booth in the front. Thank you, whoever donated that. Thank you. I also have a $40 donation from Ace Gamer Sam, who's right here with us. He says, awesome event. Voilà mon don pour tout le fun que j'ai eu jusqu'à date. Merci. Thank you. And we also have $27.93 from Elemental SC. Love G-Virus, love Nexus. With that, we crossed the 1,300 mark.
Yeah! Donc, merci à tous ceux qui ont donné jusqu'à maintenant. Donc, on a officiellement passé la marque de la moitié de l'objectif qu'on s'était fixé, qui était de 2500. Donc, écoutez, lâchez pas, il nous reste encore 20 heures de show à rouler. Donc, on est capable de le faire. J'ai vraiment confiance à tout le monde qui s'est investi là-dedans. Puis merci à tous ceux qui sont ici jusqu'à maintenant avec nous. So we've officially went past the 50% mark of our objective, which is $2,500. Thanks to everyone who's donated thus far, and thanks to everyone who will donate until the end of the marathon. I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone who's actually involved with this. Thanks for your support, and here's to 2,500 and even more marathons in the future.
So this is the part of Criteria where the rising lava comes into play. Pretty much all of these rooms have some form of rising lava or acid or whatnot. Some of them you can see. This room you can't see it, but if I dawdle too much in this room, it will catch up to me. Same with this room up here. It's actually pretty evil. Like, if you don't know exactly where you're going, it can catch up to you. Like, if you go the wrong way in this room, if you decide to go down for whatever reason, then it'll definitely catch up to you.
I spin tires with
It's the worst thing.
This room, it's a pretty visible threat. Alright, this is one of my favorite strats in the game. Normally you can't walk while underwater, but because the water line is so low and you break it during your jump, you can do it here. This saves a lot of time because normally your waterfall is extremely slow underwater. And this is one of the scariest rooms in the escape. You have to wall jump this section. There's rising acid. If you mess up, like, maybe 2-3 times, the acid will catch up to you. You'll be screwed. It's very close to the end of the escape, so it's pretty scary. Like, I've actually seen people... I've seen somebody lose a run in that room before.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, the escape sequence is by far my favorite part of the game. It's so amazing. I love it.
So I just went through the original landing site. That was where my ship was for pretty much the entire game. It's not there anymore. There's a cave in there, but your ship was actually pretty smart. It moved to a more clear location. Okay, this room, I hate this room. You know that really tight jump I had to do at the start of the game? You have to do it during the escape. It's one of the last rooms in the escape. And you have to do it with all the steam and screen shaking and all that. There we go. I missed that jump in my personal best run, and it cost me about a minute. It is an extremely nerve-wracking jump. Alright, so, your ship moves over here. But I still have some animals to go save. And they're definitely not on the way. No, they're actually technically in the same place as the original game. They're in Bomb Teresa's room, or at least they're accessed that way. But if you've played this, you might have gone to Bomb Teresa's room. You might have gotten bombs, you might have fought him, you might have killed him. Oh, I went the wrong way. Oops. I always forget which way to go here. But yeah, so you might have gone that way and might have seen a locked door at the end of his room. And that door does not open throughout the entire game. And you're probably left wondering what you have to do to get that door to open and what's behind there.
It's at like 145, just like halfway between Johnny and Valentine.
But if you think about it, what's the reason that you go to Bomb Teresa's room in the Escape in Vanilla Super Metroid? To save the animals. That's what we're doing here.
That's the hardest boss fight in the game, and I killed him in 5 minutes. It's really simple.
Nice damage boost.
You don't get rid of any of them. Yeah, you should just attack them. Because it's
Always happen when I don't want them to.
So like, I run it in the way to make sure that all my...
Okay, let's not pull another Crocomire impression, okay? Let's not do that. Let's not die in this room.
That you need to have the super suit, which you have to have the super suit. So that's why I'm so much trouble with that fight. These guys, because they can't do the super suit. But that's part of the speed, so I'll already have it anyway.
There they are.
Yay!
Also, this bomb jump is impossible on the way back. There's so much lag. I actually can't believe I got that first try.
All right, so if we make it to 1500 before he gets to the ship, he's going to go back and throw himself in the lava and do the escape all over again.
If someone drops 200, I'm just gonna be like, what the hell?
That
was a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke. Just in case, that was a joke.
But if someone out there likes to take jokes seriously, then
The lag is so
please
good.
Go ahead.
Alright, time. What a game.
All hail the king of the pears.
Yeah! Give it up for Elminster, everyone. So, this guy's such a great sport. Before his run, I actually asked him, if we put an incentive for saving the animals, do you mind? It takes like a good 10 minutes to save them in this one. That's if you thought 28 seconds was bad in Super Metroid, this is like 10 minutes. So he's a really good sport. He did it for the show, for the charity. Elminster, like I've told you once before, and I stand by what I said, you're a true gentleman and an awesome representative of the speedrunning community as a whole. So thank you so much for being here.
Wow,
thank you for everything
substituting
you've done for us in the past 2 events. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm really sorry I went over estimate. But this run is just like, this game is just really unforgiving sometimes, and things happen. Like, I was hoping to do much, much better than that, but I don't really know what else I can say.
It's all good, dude. It was awesome.
Hope people
Wait
enjoyed
for it.
regardless.
Guys, this is a Super Metroid one. Where do you think you're going? Get your asses back here.
I'd also like to shout out my friends in the Metroid construction community. They're awesome. If you like Metroid mods and ROM hacks, go check them out, metroidconstruction.com. I'd also like to shout out Personitis for all the work that he's done in this game. And, what? What? Hello? You guys are confusing me with all this. Hello? Okay, we okay now? Alright. So I was just giving shout-outs. I wanted to give shout-outs to the Metroid construction community, metroidconstruction.com. If you want to check them out, if you like playing Metroid mods and hacks, they're the place to go. I also want to shout out Personitis for all the work that he's done into running and routing this game with me. I've spent many, many late nights with him in calls, just like talking about this game, about other things. I'd also like to shout out Varen, who's probably in the chat right now, just for supporting me in everything I do in general. I love you. Also, shout outs to everyone on my couch. You're awesome. Pidge, Big Law, Fozzie, and G-Virus.
Wait for it. Gear Force!
Wait, Metroid is a girl?
Of course she's a girl. She's Halo's girlfriend.
Oh, I didn't know.
All right, that was Super Metroid Redesign. Thank you guys for having me.